From the time we're kids, we're told this same story. Work hard and you'll get ahead. Just put in the hours, grind it out, and success is going to follow. It makes perfect sense, right? But what if that core belief, the very foundation of how we think about work, is actually wrong? What if the hard work mantra is the very thing keeping you from getting rich? Look, I know that sounds pretty harsh, but the whole idea behind this explainer is that this belief that pure, raw effort is the direct path to wealth is one of the most damaging ideas out there. It keeps us all just running faster and faster on a treadmill, confusing all that motion with actual progress. I mean, does this sound like your life? You're putting in those 60-hour weeks. Your email is a disaster zone. You're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, but your bank account just doesn't seem to notice. If that hits home, well, you're probably caught in what we're calling the effort trap. So, what gives? Why does the math feel so completely wrong? Well, it's because we're trying to solve the problem with the wrong equation. See, money doesn't follow the laws of sweat and hours. It plays by a totally different set of rules that, honestly, most of us were never taught. Think about it like this. This isn't about who's a better person or who works harder. Not at all. It's just a simple mechanical observation. If money was a direct result of physical labor, the person cleaning the skyscraper's windows would be the wealthiest person in the entire building. But they're not. That tells you right there that money is following something else entirely. And this is the something else it's following: a value structure. Okay, what is that? It's basically a system that you build that can deliver value to people whether you are physically there, typing or lifting, or not. And here's the absolute key. The world pays for the structure itself, not for the sweat you poured into building it. Okay, so how in the world do you build one of these things? The secret, the magic ingredient, is leverage. This is how you finally snap that direct link between your time and your income. It's how you escape what's called the linear trap. Just look at the difference here. It's so clear. The carpenter's income is limited by physics, right? There are only 24 hours in a day. To make another chair, he needs another 50 hours. The engineer, though, she spent the same 50 hours building a system. That piece of code is her value structure, and it works for her 24/7, scaling her effort to thousands of people while she's doing something else. This is the goal. This is the whole game. You have to stop trading 1 hour of your life for 1 unit of pay. The goal is to find that one special point of leverage where 1 hour of smart, focused work can create 1,000 units of value. That, my friends, is an asymmetric return. A perfect example of this from history is the shipping container. Seriously. Before that thing, you had hundreds of guys breaking their backs carrying individual sacks and barrels onto a ship. Talk about linear work. Then, someone invents a simple, standard metal box, a new structure. Suddenly, one crane operator with this new system could do the work of 600 men. He wasn't 600 times stronger, he just had massively better leverage. The value was in the system. And believe it or not, we're living through that exact same revolution right now. It's just digital. A piece of software, a YouTube channel, an online course. These are the shipping containers of the 21st century. They are structures that let one single person deliver incredible value to millions of people at the exact same time for almost no extra cost. But to really grasp this, you kind of have to rewire your brain. It requires a huge mental shift. You have to stop thinking like a worker whose whole identity is tied to getting paid for their time and start thinking like an architect who gets paid for their vision and their design. This brings us to what's called the consultant's curse. Yeah, you might be an expert. You might be charging a ton of money per hour, and you probably feel pretty successful, but you're still in that linear trap. If you get sick, if you go on vacation, the money stops cold. You haven't built a structure, you just built yourself a really, really nice cage. So if we had to boil this entire idea down to a simple formula, this would be it. Value equals your solution times magnitude. It's so simple. But here's the crazy part. Almost everybody pours all of their energy into the wrong side of this equation. So let's break it down. We spend our entire lives on S, getting better at our job, getting another degree, perfecting our craft. And that's important. But true wealth, the kind that really changes your life, is created when you multiply that awesome solution by M, magnitude. If you're only solving the problem for one person at a time, your value will always have a ceiling. And here's the part that feels really weird. The most valuable work you can do, the work of designing these systems, it often doesn't feel like work at all. It just feels like sitting and thinking. We've been trained to feel guilty if we aren't constantly busy, but the market doesn't care about your grind. It cares about your breakthrough idea. All right, so how do we actually start doing this? It all begins with a conscious decision to shift your identity, to go from being a laborer working inside a system to becoming the architect of your very own. This is the first question you have to ask yourself. Just be honest. Look at what you do all day. Are you selling your time in little 1 hour blocks? Or are you creating assets, things like content or code or a brand that can create value even when you're not directly involved? I want you to let this one really sink in. You will never, ever win by trying to run faster on the treadmill. It's impossible. The only way to win is to get off the treadmill entirely and build a machine that runs by itself. That's it. That is the entire shift in thinking. And we'll end with this one last question for you to think about. This is the ultimate test. If you stopped working right now, today, for how long would the value you've created continue to flow out into the world? Is it a job that ends the second you clock out? Or have you actually built something that lasts? The answer to that question will tell you everything you need to know about whether you're building a salary or you're truly building wealth.